The simplest and easiest way to make a sabai is to set up your altar as your priority, the altar that's appropriate to the sabai you're making. So we're doing the Mary sabai here. And then lay your decorative ends over your fabric, as I've done here. And then once you've done that, in this case the lace, okay, you pin the four sides. So you can just see that I've pinned the top there, the side down there, this side here, and up there, okay? But to make this sabai, the only sewing I do at this stage is down at this bottom end. So I'm going to sew along here, connecting the lace to the fabric underneath, but not along the edges or the top. That comes later, okay? And I do this at both ends so that I get both ends set up in the same way. So here I am hand sewing the edge of the lace to the fabric, keeping it hanging down so that I don't get any, so I get the proper alignment. I don't get any bulging here. I'm taking it really carefully. And what you'll notice, I'm not using a ribbon. As I did with the other sabai I demonstrated. So with this simple and easy way, you just simply sew the end decoration of the lace to the fabric with no ribbon, and it makes it much simpler and easier. You don't need ribbons. They're purely there as decorative borders, if you like, and it's just, if you want to sew on a ribbon, fine, but it's going to take you twice as long to make a sabai with ribbons as to make a sabai without, as I'm doing here. I do want to emphasize that it's okay to use a machine to machine these edges if you can use a sewing machine. I prefer to hand sew, and I find it far quieter and more meditative, but if you can use a machine, by all means use one. My stitches are very small on the front edge, so you could hardly see them. I mean, you can see a little stitch there, for example, and another little one in there. There's another little one. But when I turn over and we look at the back, you see that I have all the long stitching on the back. So you can see here how small the stitch is on the other side and how long it is. So I come back on this other side, on the front side, as close. I return through the end as close as I can to the entry point of the needle. So try to keep the stitching invisible on this side, so you just see the lace sort of melting into the back fabric. You don't see a lot of stitching, and have all your long stitches in the reverse hidden side. Before I start sewing up here, I've just hemmed the ends of the sabai, which are, as you can see, I'll be closing those up when I reverse, when I pull the whole sabai through one of those ends. I'll just close those up together, but for the moment I've just pinned them up, and then we'll sew them later. So here's the video finished in a day. You notice there are no ribbons, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So as we come down here, you can see the join where I've turned it inside out, so all the sewing's on the inside running up, and also the overstitching closing up the ends. Very simple, just to run along there. So this is definitely the easiest way to make a sabai, a beautiful sabai. And so may I wish you happy sewing. And this of course is blue, and I'm about to work on a lovely sabai here for Kuan Yin. I've just turned it over, but if I come here, you can see I've started to work on this Kuan Yin sabai, and here I've got the fabric laid out. This beautiful light fabric for Kuan Yin. So as soon as I've finished one sabai, I'm at it making the next, and I highly recommend that you sew yourself a blue sabai for Mary and a white sabai for Kuan Yin, and bring those wonderful goddesses into your life.